Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of Author Talk. In today's episode, we're continuing our series focusing on authors who incorporate faith into their writing. Our first interview in this series was with author Joe Tarantino. Joe's books are nonfiction and chronicle his long-distance cycling adventures through all 50 states. Today's episode features speculative fiction author Heather Gibson, who writes under the pen name HL Gibson. In her books Realm and Cosmic Dust, the mysterious realm beyond human sight comes alive to readers through Heather's riveting and eloquent writing. Heather expertly weaves the principles of her faith into her characters and the realm where they exist. Loyalty, honor, love, trust, and redemption are all explored through the nuanced and fascinating characters in both Realm and Cosmic Dust. I know you're probably eager to learn more about Heather and her intriguing books, so let's welcome Heather. So welcome, Heather.
Thank you very much. I'm so privileged and proud to be here.
Oh, thank you. How are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to have you here.
I am excited
to be here. Good. So getting started, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, your schooling, your husband, son, and also when you began writing.
Okay, so I'm born and bred in Ohio, lived my childhood in Akron, some teen years in Uniontown, and 32 years of wedded bliss in Hartville. Mother of one son. I have one grandbaby. They're the loves of my life. I have an associate's degree, and I have done wondrous things with that little 2-year degree. It has served me well and taken me far. So I've never regretted that.
Good.
As far as my writing, I think I've always written pretty much during my life. I would jot things down, sometimes for school assignments, but a lot of personal writing. But it wasn't until I was probably in my mid-40s that my mother finally said, Heather, write this stuff down. So I did. I tried a novel, and it was quite an experience. And so then I started taking my own writing seriously from there on.
Well, that's a good mom.
Yes, I think so too. She really instilled that in us, the whole reading thing. So it just seemed natural that I became a writer.
Right. So I think you know about the first series we did on authors who began writing later in life. So you definitely fit into that category too. So
yes,
I'm so glad you did, because I've read both of your books, Realm and Cosmic Dust, and they are amazing.
Thank you so much.
For everybody watching, when I left a review on Realm for Heather's book, I said, I think something to the effect that it was a literary work of art, and I truly mean that. Your writing is impeccable.
No, thank you very much. I never thought I would write a book like Realm, and it was one of the ones that when I kind of proposed it to my mother, she's like, yes, that's the book you need to really start with and launch. So I never thought I'd write one like it. Don't know how that happened.
It is very unique. I haven't read anything like it, and that's good to have a book that stands out. So it's in the genre called speculative fiction.
Yes.
Can you define that for us?
Yes, and I'm actually going to read that because...
Okay, good.
Don't get me on my soapbox about genres, but technically...
Oh, no.
Speculative, is an umbrella genre for any story that departs from our current reality, asking what if, and it explores a world with different laws of nature, history, or technology. So that has become an umbrella term, and under that we have science fiction, science fantasy, horror, and on and on and on. So I chose speculative fiction because of the whole genre thing that everybody wants to know exactly what they're getting into before they read. And that's a big sore spot with me. But it's okay. It's all right. And I had to break down into 5 different levels under speculative fiction what that meant. It's a really good fiction book. Just here's a thought. Pick it up and read it. Find out for yourself what it is to you.
I've been at events where they have those blind date books. Have you heard of those?
I've heard of those, but I really don't know how that functions.
Yeah, so you cover the book, with some type of wrapping or whatever, and then you put what the genre is, which you're not a fan of, and then people don't know the title. They don't know what it's about. They just take the book. So
I
it's a
think
big
that
thing
sounds
now.
marvelous because we live in a society where people don't blink, where they spend upwards of $8 for a cup of fancy coffee, but they must know exactly what they're getting out of a book. And I think that's kind of sad that the treasure that is writing and books has been lost to us. So if
Yeah,
it helps get that into someone's hand, I'll put it in a genre, but I'm not
right.
going to pigeonhole my writing.
Kind of takes the mystery out of it
Exactly. Just
when
takes
we
me
want to
through.
know everything up front.
Right? Exactly.
So let's talk about Realm first.
Okay.
So that's your first book, and you have a copy with you, right?
I do. That
Can you
is
hold that up and show our viewers?
right there.
It's a beautiful cover.
Thank you very much. I have to give all credit to my publisher. They nailed that one right off the bat.
They absolutely did. And it is like right away it draws you in. It's an intriguing cover. So tell us about Realm, because we're talking about authors who incorporate faith into their writing. Is Realm a picture of eternity or eternal truths?
Realm is not eternity. It is literally where they live. I did not define it as a planet, but there is physicality to it. And it's just their home place. But
Okay.
there are eternal truths that take place in Realm.
Okay.
What happens in the Realm plays out very much through the Realmers themselves. And you're getting a glimpse of who they are in relationship to, in the Realmese language, the Liabish Tag, which translates to the Infinite One, who is God, that
Mm-hmm.
also believe in. So there are truths there, and there are good ones and bad ones, and there's free will, and it's all about how the characters themselves react to what's going on, whether good or bad.
Okay. So it's not specifically itself a picture of eternity.
No, it's more, I would say, more like a mirror image of what's going on in our own world, which is defined by a planet. But to try and pin down a space, I did not go that in depth on the world building, but there's enough
Okay.
physicality that will interest people, enough description, passage of time.
Right. Right. So did your faith influence the traits of the characters in Realm and Cosmic Dust?
It did, and it's kind of hard to describe how that happened. The characters as they developed, I didn't try to force anything on them. They just
Mm-hmm.
came about rather organically.
Uh, mm-hmm.
So a lot of experiences that I have had myself or those that other people have had, I was able to weave into the story.
And I think who we are comes out in all our writing to some degree. Like
Absolutely.
you mentioned the word organically,
Mhm.
and that's going to come out of us in our characters,
It really
who we
does.
are.
Our faith walk is in our writing. And first of all, any author who tells you that they are not written into their own work is fibbing to you. They're in there somewhere.
Somewhere, right,
Yes.
right, exactly. So can you give specifics of faith-related traits that might have been in some of your characters? And I'm not going to maybe pronounce all of them correctly. Rogue, obviously, got that one down.
Right.
Jogo,
Jogo.
and is it Todaj?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Are
So,
there any faith-related traits in there? Because I kind of saw them, but
Mhm.
maybe you didn't intend that.
So it was kind of interesting because that's what I'm hoping for my writing, that people will see different things. My editor picked up on some things and she said, boy, this certainly seemed like the story of Joseph. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting, because I was actually looking toward and leaning heavy on the story of David, who became king, and his brothers. But then each of us
Ah,
went and looked at it from the other one's perspective, and then we saw it. So that's how the faith
okay,
has kind of worked in there. What better book to model my writing after than scripture itself? So
right.
that's where the themes are drawn from.
So there are those themes of faith.
There are. I try to put them in there in such a way that it doesn't preach at my reader. It isn't so
Mm-hmm.
overt that it beats them over the head. But I don't compromise, and I'm not so subtle that if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, it's going to be there. You're going to pick up on it.
Right.
At the very least, the battle between good and evil. That's
Yes,
going to be evident.
definitely. Definitely. And two, the word that comes to mind when I read your books is epic.
Oh, thank you. That's
They read to me like an epic, and when you have that battle of good versus evil, that's kind of the definition and a sense of an epic
Hmm,
story.
that's great. That's good to know. Thank you for that.
You know, when you think about Lord of the Rings and,
Hmm.
you know, that type of book, that epic battle between good and evil.
Okay, well,
So
got it then.
you got it. So what about Lucian? He's a character in Cosmic
Oh,
Dust, and
Lucian?
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm pronouncing it incorrectly,
No,
Lucian.
that's okay. And as long as you know who the character is and who you're following, how you pronounce his name is fine.
Right. We probably do that with everyone's characters,
Exactly.
mispronounce them.
So Lucian Phoenix is the embodiment of I really can't I don't even think that Lucian ever had good intentions, but he has such a veneer and he is so
Mm,
charismatic and he draws you in, and there is the danger of the misuse of what is good and scriptural and well grounded and how he uses that against people. It's like
mm-hmm,
we've all been told, don't use the sword, that is the word, to beat people up. And that's exactly what he does, but he's so masterful at it. You
mm-hmm.
paying attention because he gives you what you want. And what you want isn't always what's best for you. And that's where he makes his mistake.
So, in your mind, would he be, if we're thinking scripture, more a picture of Satan or like a false prophet,
I think I
a
would,
false teacher?
yeah, I would say false prophet, false teacher, somebody who is into the sensational, miraculous kind of life. And there's no grounding to that. I mean, those are good things.
Mm-hmm,
But if you ask somebody like Lucian to actually walk the walk that is necessary to give foundation to that, he couldn't do it because that's not what he's about. He's all about controlling through what people want, the tantalizing, the sensational.
right. And that's very much a trait of a false teacher, a false prophet.
Right.
They want all the glory and, you know, to be thought
Absolutely.
of as number one, but they don't want to do the humble work of a true servant of God.
So I will give you a small teaser. You probably picked up on this. You're very smart in this respect. A lot of Lucian's reaction or interactions with Jogo was based heavily on Messiah's temptations from the adversary
Mm,
himself. And that's
okay.
where we drew on that interaction.
That's really interesting.
Hmm.
Very interesting. So I don't know if I'm right on this one, but in the books, the earth is in a state of decay,
Yes.
uh, s- serious decay. Is that kind of equivalent to a life without the Lord? Were you trying to portray that, or was there something different you were trying to portray with that state of decay?
So life in the biodomes in Realm very much is horrible. The decay, as you say, how that is very soul sucking to the characters.
Mm-hmm.
You have to live with that every day. It's hard to find the good in that kind of life. They are totally restricted in the biodome, but without giving the story totally away, there's a falsehood to that. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to get up and go past what you think you see, how bad things appear to be, because
Mm.
oftentimes what we think things are like is not always so. My message that I was trying to get to my readers subtly is get up and do the work. You must see it from a different perspective.
Hmm.
Try to align your perspective with Adonai's perspective, ideally, but at least attach yourself to somebody who can see that things are not as bad as they look. But
Hmm.
if you stay there in the biodome, which is dank and dark and dying, that's going to affect you too.
Right. So, in other words, if you stay enmeshed in the world and the things of the world.
Yes. Which at the very beginning of Realm, our character, my protagonist, Rogue, he wants out of that terribly. Who wouldn't want out of that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Versus Jessica Rain, who is willing to stay there and fight on behalf of others. So we see the servant heart in Jessica Rain, and Rogue wants out of it there. Like I said, who wouldn't? But when he
Mm.
departs that place in a way that he's not expecting, which is often how Adonai works, then he's really forced to decide what is important to me. How do I battle my way back to it?
Right, exactly. And I will say at the end of Realm, there is a major twist in regard to Rogue.
At the end of Realm?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. All right.
For me, it was a major twist. Now, there's a major twist in Cosmic Dust, too.
Right.
But
so I've had someone else tell me regarding the end of Realm that they thought it ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, which I thought was kind of interesting. So,
I thought that, too.
oh, really? That's
Yes.
funny because I thought, okay, no, that's fine. These are the different things that I want everyone to take away from the reading. Something different as long as it's satisfying.
Yes, absolutely. So can you hold up Cosmic Dust and show our viewers? This is the second book in the Realm series. Tell us a little bit about the cover. That's an intriguing cover.
So this is the portal. And you might have noticed that there was one on the cover of Realm, but it was in a little bit different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And the portal is a means of transportation, so to speak, for the Realmers. And this little fella right here who is falling through the portal is actually coming from his world, the Realm. And he's ending up in the desert. And that is not by accident because he has a lot in his life that needs to be burned away. And where prophets, priests, and holy men often find that happening is walking in the desert. And so that's where I see Jogo on his journey.
Yeah. To me, his journey was, and again, maybe you didn't intend this, this is how I took it, kind of the sanctification process that happens in us as believers.
That process of being made holy. And the fact that it is a process, you don't have that come to faith moment and then camp out there. That would be not so much death, but an immaturity. And Jogo is a very immature character when we first meet him. He has a lot of growing up to do, not just physically, but spiritually.
Exactly. Tell us about the evolution of his character without giving too much away and writing about that evolution of how he changed. What was that like for you?
That was, there was some personal stuff in there, I'll admit.
Okay.
And watching some other people in my life who I was close to and weaving these experiences into Jogo. He kind of, I thought at the beginning, he's not exactly likable, but he's so young. You give him a lot of leeway and grace. His parents had such hope for him. And then, his life goes a little bit off track too. And when he finds himself completely without distraction, that's when he realizes, I have to start changing. I can't be the big shot in my life or in anybody else's eyes. And that's what he wanted very much at the beginning. He doesn't even realize how much his heart is changing because it's all about heart attitude. And it does start happening for Jogo. It's because he has become this selfless caretaker, kind of unspoken, of the other character, Melanie. The dynamics of their relationship grows them both up until Jogo reaches the places that he can do what he knows needs to be done.
Right. And I know he's not a man.
Right.
But when I finished the book, I had that feeling like he's a man now.
There was sort of a unspoken rite of passage with Jogo, what he needed to do and who he needed to be. And he was that in the moment, but it wasn't easily won. It was hard won for him.
Right. And depth of character is never easily won.
No,
in any of us.
Exactly.
Right. You have to go through those trials and afflictions and pain.
It did, and it was a lot of pain for him, especially what he left in the wake of his bad decisions. back in his own world, he had to carry that with him. And he wasn't wise enough. He didn't have the wisdom yet. It was very much a wisdom journey for Jogo and getting there, so that when he realized, okay, I am who I need to be in relationship to God, I can do these things, I can go forward. And then his impressive physicality and his swordsmanship was actually secondary for him. And that was okay.
Wow. That's amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
Yes. So, what was the inspiration for these books? So you're writing about this mysterious realm, and then you're writing about a decayed Earth. What was the inspiration?
So I've always just kind of toyed with stories in my head, and if I'm having a sleepless night, I'll just let my mind wander, and characters and worlds and whatever, and some little storylines will pop in. And this one did not go away. And admittedly, when I started writing Realm, it was going to be pure science fantasy. And again, my mother encouraged me, but I reached this place in the writing where I don't know if this happens for every science fiction writer, but there had to be a belief system. There had to be something held these people that defined who they were. And I've seen this and read it done so poorly in some science fiction. I did not want to create a belief system and their God and everything. And so it just was impressed upon me, well, what would it look like if they believed in the one and only living creator God? Why shouldn't they? Why couldn't he have been responsible for creating them? And as soon as that thought came to me, writing just exploded. Then everything actually started falling in place because I had something to fall back on. So I felt I gave my story foundation by drawing on my own foundation.
Right.
Yep.
So that just came to you in the night.
Well, okay, not all at once. So again, I was kind of sitting on this science fiction story, and it was that crucial moment, though, actually at the laptop. I just stopped writing. Yeah, I just kind of stopped writing, and I'm like, I'm at an impasse until I decide how to handle who these people are, what they believe. What they believed was so important to me because it's important to me myself, but it was also important to my characters. I could not imagine them not having something to underpin them in their life.
Right. I think that was so wise on your part, and obviously,
oh, thank you.
That was kind of given to you.
It was very much given to me. Sometimes I'll read passages in Realm and Cosmic Dust, and I think I'm not that good a writer. The Lord had to have given that to me.
I understand what you're saying.
Thank
I
you.
understand.
Yeah,
and that belief system, I think, in the books is so important because, like you said, I've read other science fiction books, I guess speculative fiction.
Right.
And there seems no true motivation for what they do, for what the characters do. And you just feel kind of empty with it.
That's what I didn't want for this. Even if the characters used their free will to act against it, at least there was something there. There was some true reason that was driving their actions and their words.
Right. Right. That's excellent.
Thank you very much.
So, are you working on a new book in the Realm series?
So, number 3 has been written for quite a while. Again, this is one of those things where I'm leaning heavy into the Lord and his guidance. And I enjoyed number 3, and I thought it was perfect right off the bat, which is kind of funny, and hopefully doesn't sound vain, but I started launching right into number 4, and I hit this dead end in number 4 for some reason, and I'm like, because number 4 hinges so heavily on number 3, something just kept telling me, go back and address 3, go back and address 3. So I did. I just sat on it for a little bit, finally picked it up, went through it. I'd already had 2 beta readers read it. And I said, you know, guys, there's been some structural stuff here that I'm going to need you guys to check me on again. So it's back in the hands of beta readers. Everything in the Lord's time. Better stuff came to me. Storylines and character arcs were cinched up tightly.
Okay.
I think it just reads better. The whole story is just stitched together better. So I'm at peace with it, and it's in a round of beta readers. And I think once I have that underway with my editor, then I can turn back to number 4.
Okay. So a little digressing here.
Okay.
Talk about the importance of beta readers, because you just mentioned
Oh,
it's in
okay.
the hands of beta readers. Just, real quick. And I don't know if everybody knows what a beta reader is, so
Oh,
maybe
okay.
you can kind of
I
define
don't have
that.
a specific definition, but it is, for me, it is somebody who reads my book from cover to cover. They're familiar with it, not just a section of it. And this came about because my primary beta reader and I realized that places we were going for critiquing was very much just small sections. And we would get critiques on things that we had already addressed. And it's because no one person there was familiar with the whole story. So we decided, let's trade novels. So we're
Okay.
familiar with it from beginning to end. And that has been huge because we can ask the questions that need to be asked.
I see.
Yeah, and it's great because if my beta reader has that question, probably somebody else is too. So I have a primary
Right.
beta reader, and then I have 4 additional beta readers, believe it or
Oh,
not.
wow.
I do. And they all come from different walks of life, different perspectives, different careers, and each of them brings something unique to the story. Even the funny thing is, one of them is I call my non-reading reader, right? If this one beta reader reads anything, it's going to be nonfiction. So what he picks out of the story is different from all others.
Wow.
And
That's
yeah,
so important.
it is. And then they give me all kinds of feedback, all kinds of questions they ask, things that I don't think of. They see things with fresh eyes that just didn't
Right.
occur to me. After they read it, I do it again, and then it goes to editor.
Right. I don't know if, maybe non-author people realize, what an arduous process it is first creating the book, then
Exactly.
the beta readers and the
Mhm.
editors. And so it is definitely a labor of love.
I was just going to say, it is a labor of love. It will drive you crazy, but you can't quit. You just can't quit. And when you bring this thing to life, it's almost like your baby and you're putting it out there, asking
Yes.
everybody, please critique this for me,
In a good way.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully.
Yeah. It is like a compulsion.
Yes,
Even though it's so difficult, it is a compulsion to get it out into the world. And like you said, it is like birthing your child
very much.
once it's out in the world. So do you have a projected date for the 3rd book in the series?
Admittedly, sometime next year, I wouldn't mind
Okay.
seeing the next one get out. But again, I leave that to Adonai's timing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pretend that there isn't a certain level of perfection that I want to achieve with it.
Right,
But
right.
then I just, I just trust in him when he says it's finished, then I hand it off.
It's done.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So speaking of your books, where
Mhm.
can readers find your books?
I would encourage my readers to go to bookbaby.com,
Okay.
look in their bookstore, buy the titles Cosmic Dust or Realm. You can look it up by HL Gibson. You'll find them there. Hardbacks, softbacks, and Kindle versions. The reason I send them to Book Baby is because they are print on demand, so my book is never considered out of stock. It's always there.
Right.
You will get it.
Right. Okay. So Book Baby primarily. People
Primarily,
can.
there is other online sources. I'm trying to find a tactful way to say they're going to ask you to play the numbers game. So if my book says out of stock there, it's not really. You can go ahead and order it through there. It's just going to take you a little longer. Book Baby
So
will.
on other entities, it is
Yeah.
there.
Yes. Even if it
Typical
says,
places where people would
yeah,
order books.
right.
Okay.
All the big ones.
Okay. So you would like it if they go directly to Book Baby.
I would, and it's not because I get any better kickback or anything for like that. That's not my motivation.
Right.
Also, I do book signings, and if you don't want to pay shipping, come and see me in person.
Come and see you
Yes,
in person.
exactly.
Do you have any lined up for next year yet, or
Not for
not
next
yet?
year. I just finished one for the winter holidays, and I'll do some online selling, encouraging and advertising in that respect. But we're already looking at some spring stuff. Nothing concrete yet.
Right, right. Yeah, it's so hard to get all those lined up, when you're still in the previous year, looking
Exactly.
at 2026 when it's still 2025.
Yep.
But where can readers find you on social media?
I do have a blog, hlgibsonauthor.com. Admittedly,
Okay.
it is not my focus because that's another little sticking point with me is how much you have to keep up on your blog, but I do keep in touch. Primarily, believe it or not, you'll probably find me a lot more frequently on my Facebook account, HL Gibson. I think it might be HL Gibson author. It's not difficult to find. I'm out there.
Okay. HL Gibson.
Yes, I was very proud the first time I ever Googled my name and all my social media accounts popped up.
Isn't that's kind of a
Yeah,
cool feeling, isn't it?
exactly. A small feather in my cap.
If you go by Google, we're all famous, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. So, concluding our episode here,
Mhm.
and this series being on authors who incorporate faith or the principles of faith into their writing,
Right.
what is your best advice for authors who want to incorporate faith into their writing, whether fiction or nonfiction? You write fiction, but you
Right.
could probably speak to either. What's your
So
best advice?
I think with the fiction writing, I would say, again, don't be so overt that you leave your readers feeling like they're being preached at and overly condemned and beat over the head. But you do not have to compromise your beliefs that it's so subtle that nobody picks up on it. Stitch it into your writing in such a way that it's just like you walking your life with your you walk
Mm-hmm.
with God, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Consider it like when you go to the bank, you don't have deep theological discussions with the teller, but who you are, your character will shine through.
Right.
That's how your writing about faith-based matters should be. There are going to be more moments. I have spoken with complete strangers about matters of faith. Not that they're few and far between, but they are precious and divinely appointed. So just faith walk your writing. Make it natural, make it organic. The Lord
Mm-hmm.
will give you what you need.
Right. That's excellent. Excellent advice.
Thank you.
And I think you did that so well in Realm and Cosmic Dust.
Thank you.
You weren't, like you said, preaching at your readers. You weren't beating them over the head, but through these very nuanced, well-written characters
Thank you.
that came out, but yet at the same time exciting, suspenseful,
Good.
mysterious, and the cliffhangers and the twists.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Good
So, to all of you watching, I just highly recommend Heather's books.
Thank you.
And again, Heather, if you could hold up Realm,
Sure. Let me grab that.
show our viewers again. And the second book in the Realm series, Cosmic Dust. Show the readers that.
Ta-da.
Great. Ta-da. And, to everyone watching, you will not be sorry.
Thank
It
you.
has a little bit of something for every type of reader, in my opinion.
I hope so. I tried to make it for everybody.
Yes. Very well done.
Thank you. Your compliments are so humbling, Debbie.
Bravo. Bravo. So thank you for joining us, and maybe we'll do it again next time when your next book comes out.
I would love that. Thank you very much.
So thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.